Hi, and welcome back to the channel, or welcome to the channel if you are new here. Kat and I, we just got home from watching Spider-Man No Way Home. Wow, what a freaking movie. This is, of course, going to be a non-spoiler review. It's a quick review, just out of the theater kind of review, even though I'm not at the theater anymore. It was just very difficult to film anything there, too much noise and everything going on, and just had to also calm down a little bit after what we just saw, what we just experienced in that movie theater. It was just so exhilarating an experience, and I just gotta say, out of the gate, what an amazing Spider-Man movie. It was all about Spider-Man, Peter Parker. It's definitely one of the best, if not the best, at least it's the best live action Spider-Man movie that I have ever seen. That I think Kat would agree with me as well. Like the only one that can top it in any way would be Into the Spider-Verse, but that's an animated movie, but still, both dealing with the multiverse. And I'm going to assume here that a lot of you guys watching have watched the trailers, so I can talk a little bit about some of the stuff that we saw inside of the trailers, like the villains, for example, the villains that are showing up in this movie, villains from other Spider-Man movies that we've seen in the past. And the way that they handled those villains was just like, it exceeded my expectations so freaking much. Like they all really have something to do, some of them more than others. And I was sort of afraid, I guess, a little bit going into this movie at first with, like, is this going to be more of a, just a Spider-Man inside of the MCU, and they're going to keep connecting it to everything that's going on inside of the MCU, and especially like Doctor Strange, we know he has a big role inside of this movie. Is it going to be like a buddy movie between those two? Is it going to take focus away from Spider-Man? But as I already said up top, no, it really, really didn't. This is a Spider-Man movie through and through. The thematics, the character, this is, I would say, like the best that Tom Holland has ever been, the best that many of the supporting characters have ever been inside of this movie. And it was funny, of course, like we expect humor inside of these MCU movies. It delivered. I would say a few jokes maybe like fell to the wayside a little bit along the way, maybe in the first act, but then it just really kicks in and it becomes so much more dramatic than I thought it would, and extremely, extremely, extremely emotional. This is an emotional experience, especially if you are a big Spider-Man fan, big MCU fan, if you're really into this universe, if you have like a connection to these characters and you feel for them. This movie is going to hit you hard. It certainly did with us. Like both Kat and I, we teared up several times throughout that movie. Just inside of the first, actually 10-15 minutes or something. Yeah, something happens and we almost like stood out of our seats and started cheering just inside of the first 15 minutes. And that should give you a good picture of how they're handling this movie, and the narrative, the story that they're telling inside of it. It makes a lot of sense with why the villains are showing up, for example. And yeah, it's it's difficult to talk about it without going into spoiler territory, which of course I'm not going to do. But I really, really think that all you guys out there, if you are Spider-Man fans, MCU fans, as I said, like you owe yourself this experience. Go and watch it, maybe with a lot of people, if you feel comfortable doing that, if you feel safe doing that. The cheering in the cinema, that never gets old. And yeah, I had more to say, but it's just I'm still almost exhausted after that experience, in a good way, like emotionally drained as well. There was just so much going on, but it not to the point where it was too much, or it was like they were juggling too many things inside of the movie, as we've seen in other Spider-Man. Like Spider-Man, like the Amazing Spider-Man 2 or Spider-Man 3, where you could argue definitely that there were too many villains inside of those movies. There are yeah, a lot of villains in this one as well, but the way that they're handled and the fact that it's villains that, if you have seen the other movies, like it's villains that you know, and so they don't need an introduction, so to say. They still want to get you like caught up a little bit in some of the stuff that's been going on, or some of the stuff that went down in the other movies, and also stay for the post credit scenes. Both of them. There are two post credit scenes. Stay till like the end of the credits. After the credits, you will not regret doing that. Wow, wow, wow! It shot up to like the top tier MCU movies for me. Maybe even in like top 5 or top 3. I'm gonna need to watch it again, definitely. And there's also, like, I guess you could say there is a lot of fan service in this movie, and I don't mean that in a derogatory way at all. It's the way that they're handling that is quite clever, but it doesn't take over the entire experience. All the fan service, all the Easter eggs, all the mentions and characters that are popping up. It is still, as I said from the beginning, a Spider-Man movie through and through. I loved it. We both loved it, and we cannot wait to watch it again. You guys should definitely go and watch it. Now I've said that multiple times. I'm rambling already, but this was such a good experience. Such an amazing movie. What a way to like cap off the year, I should say. And it's also one of the best movies that I've seen this year. Might even be better than Dune. Or well, I would actually say it was more of an experience watching this one than Dune even. It's that good to me, at least. Well, what about you guys? Have you seen it yet? What did you think about it? Of course, like just keep the comments spoiler free. I know that's there are definitely gonna be some people down there that are going to spoil it. So maybe if you don't want to know anything, don't look at the comments. But yeah, man, what a freaking movie. That's gonna do it for me. Thank you guys so much for watching. Check out the channel if you haven't already. We do, of course, reactions, reviews, watching a lot of stuff at the moment. Just look through it, subscribe, like this one, comment, all the good stuff. And I will see you as soon as possible. My voice is disappearing. Sorry. I'll see you as soon as possible. Take care. Bye.